Chalo. Can we start once again, everyone? Okay. So before break, we completed AS 10. I hope you have understood the 2-3 questions, whatever is in my expected list that you download from my Telegram channel. Do it. If any doubt, we'll discuss. Okay. Now let us do some more accounting standard. AS 26 will start intangible asset. It is more or less similar to what? AS 10, but not exactly same. Not exactly same. Okay. Now, what do you mean by intangible asset? First meaning, intangible asset means what? No, no. That is bakwas definition. Now, whenever intangible asset means as per AS 26, which you can't see, which you can't feel, that is CA foundation wala definition. Now you are in CA inter. Okay. So intangible asset are any asset which satisfy which have three characteristics. I will say like this, means which are identifiable, non-monetary, without physical substance. Means any asset which are identifiable, non-monetary, without physical substance, and held for the same three purpose. Whatever we have done for AS 10 PP, which are held for production of goods, or supply for goods or services, or for rental to other, or for administrative purposes. Correct? This is the meaning of intangible assets. Means, can I say, if I explain what do you mean by identifiable, non-monetary, and without physical substance, so you will understand the meaning of intangible assets. Correct. Now, when I say asset, first let us understand asset. So, of course, asset, so PP is also an asset. Correct now. But what actually asset means? Means when any resource will be considered as an asset for accounting purpose. So what the definition says, कि any resource which satisfy two conditions will become an asset. First, which provide future economic benefit, any resource which provide future economic benefit, and which are under the control of the entity, means, can I say, the keyword is control, not ownership. Means it is quite possible an asset is owned but not under the control is not an asset. For example, you have seen, AS 19, any asset given on lease, so legal ownership is not transferred, but control, risk and reward is transferred. In that case, we de-recognize the asset even though the ownership is not transferred. It means, can I say, any leased asset which are not owned but it may be under control, therefore it is the asset of the entity which is using the asset, correct? So what is the keyword? Keyword is what? Any resource which is controlled by the entity and from which future economic benefit are expected to flow from the entity, that become an asset. Correct? So asset meaning you understood. Now what is the meaning of identifiable? So identifiable means what? Any asset which satisfy any one of the following two conditions will become identifiable asset. So how many conditions? Two conditions. If any one condition satisfied, it become identifiable. Correct? So first, that asset is a separable, means it is a separable. Separable means what? It is capable of being sold separately, capable of being exchanged separately or transferred separately, or can be given on rent separately. It become an identifiable asset. So why this was not given in the definition of tangible item? Can I say, for tangible item, it is easy to identify whether it is identifiable or not. For example, this furniture is identifiable. It is capable of being what? Separable. But for intangible asset, it is not easy to understand whether it is identifiable or not. And therefore, this term has been defined for the definition of intangible asset. So what they are saying, if any asset is identifiable, means if it is separable. Separable means if it is capable of being sold separately, or can be transferred separately, or can be given on rent separately, it means it is identifiable. Now you can apply this particular definition in any item. For example, if I say I have a goodwill, so can I sold goodwill separately? If yes, it is an intangible asset. If yes, it is an intangible asset. For example, because you know a lot of examples of intangible asset. For example, patent, copyright, trademark. So if it can be sold separately, can be given on rent separately, can be transferred separately, it is identifiable. Correct? Second definition is what? Ki any asset which arises from contractual or any other legal right. So any asset which arises from contractual or any other legal right will be identifiable even though it is not separable. Even though it is not separable. Understood now? So any asset which arises from contractual or any other legal right. For example, you acquired some license under a contract. License can be any software, right to use others' property. Right to use others' property. So you acquire a license, suppose license is to run cinema hall for 5 years. So you acquire license from any other entity to run cinema hall, or you acquire license from government. Correct now? To run cinema hall for 5 years. But there is one condition that you can't transfer this right to any other party. So it means it is non-transferable. Then also it will be an intangible asset. Even though it is not separable, then also it will be a intangible, means it will be identifiable because it arises from contract or any other legal right. I hope you have understood. So identifiable meaning you have understood. So identifiable means what? As it means any one condition is satisfied. First, asset is separable. Second, it arises from contractual or any other legal right, even though it is not transferable or separable. Understood? Now, what do you mean by non-monetary? If you have done AS11, so in AS11 you might have done monetary item and non-monetary item. Have you done foreign currency monetary item? So detailed discussion of monetary and non-monetary item will do in under AS11 with a lot of examples. But do you know what is monetary item? In simple word, I will say any receivable in cash, fixed amount of cash is a monetary item. Means if any asset which are realizable in fixed or determinable amount of cash, that become monetary item. Apart from that, any asset will be what? Non-monetary item. So for example, if I say debtor will be monetary or non-monetary? Debtor is realizable in cash, fixed amount of cash. So this become what? Monetary item. For example, if I say plant and machinery, whether it is realizable in fixed amount of cash? No. What is fixed amount? Suppose you acquired a plant and machinery, whether it is realizable in fixed amount of cash? No. Nothing na. This is to help for use. Debtor will be realized in cash na. Debtor means what? Amount which will be collected in cash. Amount collected in cash. So that become monetary item. But property, plant and equipment is not amount to be collected in cash. Therefore, it becomes non-monetary item. Similarly, intangible assets are also non-monetary item. Intangible assets are also non-monetary item. So intangible asset cannot be monetary item. Intangible asset cannot be monetary item. Understood? Last one, without physical substance. So of course this is understood point. Any tangible asset will have some physical substance. So intangible asset is without physical substance. But every intangible asset will be stored in some storage device. For example, software will be stored where? In pen drive. For example, right now I am recording my classes. So that is also my intangible asset. This is my intangible asset now. So once the classes are recorded, I will store my recorded classes in some pen drive or hard disk or any other storage device, and the storage device will have some tangible component. Are you getting? So most of the intangible assets are stored in a storage device. Now the question is that when you purchase software, so you purchase software in a CD. The CD has some physical substance. So one clarification has been given by AS26. In that case, the cost of tangible component is insignificant as compared to the cost of intangible component, and therefore we need to apply what? AS26. So whenever you are purchasing intangible asset in a storage device, are you getting what I am saying? whenever you are purchasing, you are acquiring any intangible asset in a storage device, the storage device might have some tangible component, but the cost of that tangible component is insignificant as compared to the cost of intangible component. Therefore, you need to apply AS26 or AS10. AS26. Understood? But sometimes what happens, you purchase a tangible component with intangible component and both costs are significant. For example, you purchase laptop with operating system. The laptop is also significant, tangible component is also significant, and operating system is also significant. Both costs are significant. In that case, what need to be done? In that case, doubt will come into apply AS10 or AS26. Are you able to understand? First, what they say, if you are acquiring some intangible asset with some tangible component, and the cost of tangible component is insignificant, then you need to apply AS26. Got this point? But sometimes when we acquire tangible component with intangible component and both costs are significant, then which AS need to be applied? So what AS26 has said, one clarification has been given, when intangible component are integral part of tangible component. Integral part means it cannot be used without tangible component. For example, operating system is an integral part of laptop because operating system cannot be used without laptop. In that case, apply AS10. Therefore, you have never done the journal entry laptop account debit, operating system account debit. You have done laptop account debit to cash or bank. Correct? But for depreciation, we need to apply component accounting. Depreciation, AS10 says for depreciation apply component accounting. For tangible component, the useful life may be different, and intangible component, the useful life might be different. But we need to apply AS10 in that. So whenever intangible component is integral part of tangible component, apply AS10. Understood? But whenever intangible component is not an integral part of tangible component, then for tangible apply AS10, intangible apply AS26. Got this point? Sir, give me some example. So let us take example. You know Tally software? Tally software, you know, this is an accounting package. So suppose I purchase Tally software, correct, with laptop. Means in laptop Tally software is integrated. Now you only say whether Tally software require that laptop only. It can be used any other laptop also. It means it is not an integral part of laptop, and therefore for Tally software will use AS26 and for laptop will apply AS10. Understood? This is given in this para. Till now no question have been asked from this para, but important. Understood? I think once you have understood, now you can answer. Once you have understood whatever I am saying, now you can answer. Only thoda sa revision is required. Okay? आगे चलिए. Definition of intangible asset is completed. So for definition, what is the three key characteristics? Identifiable, non-monetary, without physical substance, and of course it must be held for use in production or supply of goods or services, or for rental to other, for admin purpose. Understood? Means can I say any software if you have acquired, it is held for sale in ordinary course of business, then it will meet the definition of inventory. Then AS2 will be applicable. Because in this, it is not held for sale in the ordinary course of business. So if you acquire any intangible asset which are held for sale in ordinary course of business, then AS2 will be applicable. Ind AS 26 will not be applicable. Understood point? If you acquire machinery and that is held for sale in ordinary course of business, then also AS2 will be applicable. Then also accounting standard 2 will be applicable. Got this point? Chalega? Yes, sir. Now coming to recognition criteria. Recognition criteria is same to same whatever we have done for AS10. It is probable that future economic benefit will flow to the entity and cost can be measured reliably. In this second condition is very much important, because there might be some intangible asset for which cost cannot be measured reliably. It is quite possible. Normally it happens for self-generated intangible asset. Self-generated intangible asset. Can you say I am teaching from last 20 years, so I have generated some goodwill in the market. So I have self-generated goodwill, but how much cost has been incurred to generate that goodwill, that I can't identify. means it cannot be identified. Because just try to understand, initially I have given many free classes to generate goodwill only. But how much cost incurred for that free classes which is attributable goodwill cannot be measured reliably. Therefore, AS 26 that say that that type of goodwill cannot be recognized, because second condition will not be satisfied. In that case, cost cannot be measured reliably. Therefore, in our books of account, we'll never recognize self-generated goodwill. Self-generated goodwill cannot be recognized as an intangible asset in our books of account because of second condition. Understood? Yes, sir. It means, can I say, if any intangible item which do not satisfy definition criteria and which do not meet recognition criteria will be recognized as an expense and charged to PL as an expense immediately. Means any intangible item, try to understand. I said intangible item, I am not saying intangible asset. Any intangible item which do not satisfy definition criteria as well as recognition criteria will be charged to PL as an expense immediately. Let me take one simple example. In Bachpan, in CA Foundation, your teacher might have given the concept of deferred revenue expenditure. Whether your teacher has given? CA Foundation? What was the example of deferred revenue expenditure? Advertisement expense. What your teacher said? Whether it will be recognized as an asset or it will not be recognized as an asset? Bolo? Means whether it will be charged to PL as an expense immediately or it will be deferred. Deferred means CA Foundation, whatever your teacher has said, he was not a chartered accountant. Means you have learned from a teacher who is not a chartered accountant. Am I right or not? It is quite possible. If he is saying he is deferred, means he does not have the knowledge of AS 26. Are you getting what I am saying? Arey, please, respecting all the teachers, don't feel bad. I know you love that teacher. Don't feel bad, huh? Don't feel bad. You are not feeling bad, na? Correct. Means there is no concept of deferred revenue expenditure. Are you getting what I am saying? So if that example has been given, it means at that point of time AS 26 was not taken into consideration. But CA Foundation is something different. Whatever has been done, ho gaya. Now you are in CA intern. Now you should learn correctly. So what AS 26 says that any intangible item which do not meet definition criteria and recognition criteria will be recognized as an expense immediately. It cannot be deferred. So for example, you incur a use advertisement expense of 1000 crore. Okay? Can you say it is an intangible item because it does not have any physical substance? Correct? Now, it is an intangible item or not? Tangible item, intangible item. Any expenditure on advertisement is an intangible item. It is a tangible item. Intangible item. Whether it will meet definition criteria, whether it is identifiable, whether it is capable of being sold, whether it is separable. No, it is not identifiable only. It will not meet definition criteria only, and therefore it should be charged to PL as an expense immediately, irrespective of amount. Our accounting say amount is not important, concept is important. Even though it is 1000 crore, it will be charged to PL as an expense immediately if it does not meet the definition criteria. Understood? Are you able to understand what I am saying? Bolo. Yes, sir, you need to understand this, you need to accept this. Okay? Correct. And whatever I am teaching as per AS 26. Now, second example, do you know about preliminary expenses? What do you mean by preliminary expenses? Any expenses incurred to form a company, whether it can be capitalized, whether it will be charged to PL. So what will do? Charge to PL or capitalize? Means any other alternative accounting treatment you have, you can give that also. So it will be charged to PL. Why? Because it is an item. Once again, it is an intangible item which will not satisfy the definition of intangible asset, because this is also not identifiable. It is not identifiable. What AS 26 says that it will be charged to PL as an expense immediately. Two examples I have given. Balance example we read. Any expenditure on intangible item should be recognized as an expense if it does not meet the definition or recognition criteria. Examples of other expenditure that is recognized as an expense when it is incurred include expenditure on startup activities, for example, preliminary expense, expenditure to open a new facility or business, pre-opening cost, expenditure for commencing new operation or launching new products, means you can say inauguration expense, expenditure on a training activity. Training activities will be always, staff training expense will be always charged to PL. It cannot be capitalized. It cannot be capitalized. Expenditure on advertisement and promotional activities. So any use advertisement, even though 1000 crore, it will be charged to PL as an expense. It cannot be deferred. There is no concept of deferred revenue expenditure. This name you delete from your mind. Now you delete from your mind. Somebody asks you what is deferred revenue expenditure, you say, sir, what is this? We don't know. ऐसे बोलना. There is no concept of deferred revenue expenditure. Bakwas concept. Understood? This was a concept before AS 26. But once AS 26 was introduced, this concept was deleted. But there are some non-chartered accountant who are using still this particular term. Understood? So I don't know, you have done CA foundation from CA or non-CA. You have done from CA or non-CA? You also don't know. CA or non-CA? CA, okay, CA must be knowing, but non-CA does not know about this. CA must be knowing, huh? CA, all CA are knowledgeable, huh? Okay. Understood, this much you understood? Okay, this example you can read. Now, initial measurement, now the measurement point is more or less same to what? AS time, more or less. So, an intangible asset should be measured initially at cost. Now, for separate acquisition, what will do? Same thing, purchase price plus any directly attributable expenses. Can you say for intangible asset, there will be no concept of DRSL because there is no dismantling cost for what? Intangible asset. Therefore, that para is not under AS 26. So, it will be invoice price minus trade discount or rebate plus any duties, non-refundable duties and taxes. This become purchase price. Add any directly attributable cost for bringing the asset to its usable condition. For example, registration charges, brokerage, professional fee. Borrowing cost will be added subject to AS 16. Government grant will reduce as per accounting standard 12. Same thing we have done there also. This become the cost price of acquired intangible asset. Same to same, no separate discussion. Okay. Acquired in exchange of non-monetary assets. Same thing. Whatever we have done there. Cost price of intangible asset acquired will be equal to fair value of asset plus minus cash adjustment or fair value of asset received, whichever is clearly evident, means for which information has been given in the question. However, if the fair value of asset are not really measurable, means if both are not given in the question or exchange transaction lacks commercial substance, then cost price of intangible asset acquired will be equal to carrying amount of asset given up plus minus cash adjustment. Same thing. So what we have done under AS 10, same thing is replica here. So no extra discussion required. Can we move? Can we move? Acquired in exchange for shares or other security. This point AS 10 is silent. Means if PP is acquired in exchange of shares, AS 10 is totally silent about that. So in AS 10, so they will never ask that type of questions. But for AS 26, they have given some point ki suppose you acquired intangible asset in exchange of equity shares of other entity. In exchange of equity, journal entry will be intangible asset account debit to equity share. But what will be the cost price of intangible asset? The cost price of intangible asset will be equal to fair value of asset received. First preference will be given to fair value of asset received. If that is not given in the question, means the fair value of asset received cannot be measured reliably, then fair value of securities issued, whichever is clearly evident. In this thoda sa reverse, first preference will be given to what? Fair value of asset received. If that is not given, then fair value of securities issued. Understood? Have you understood? For example, suppose you purchase a software whose fair value is equal to 1 lakh in exchange of equity shares of equity share, 10,000 equity share. Number is what? What is number? 10,000 equity share whose nominal value is what? Nominal value means face value. Nominal value means face value. The nominal value is 10, but the fair value means what? Is market price. फेयर वैल्यू एंड मार्केट प्राइस कैन बी इंटरचेंज, ठीक है ना. तो फेयर वैल्यू इज सपोज 12, फेयर वैल्यू is equal to 12, but what will be the cost price of intangible asset? Cost price of intangible asset will be equal to what? Means you have two options, 1 lakh or 1,20,000. 1 lakh. Right now it's easy, but in exam difficult, huh? Right now बड़ा easy ना. So it means simple question can be difficult in exam, because if you don't know this content, then believe me, everyone will say 1,20,000. Most of the student will say 1,20,000. Even if I am writing exam, so even I can also do wrong, but I will not do wrong because in my blood now there is what? Accounting standard. Because I am teaching from last many years now, but other CA will do wrong in this. Are you able to understand? It means thoda sa revision is required. So simple question, simple solution, but in exam it can be difficult. So answer is correct, 1 lakh is correct. 1 lakh is correct. Then acquisition as a part of amalgamation. Suppose you acquire intangible asset in amalgamation. So refer AS 40. We'll discuss where under AS 40. Okay, sir? I think AS 40 we know amalgamation in the nature of purchase, amalgamation in the nature of merger. That we'll discuss there. Can we leave? Can we leave? Asset acquired through government grant. This will be discussed under what? AS 12. But AS 12 says that whenever non-monetary grant is received, non-monetary. So suppose you acquire intangible asset in grant, then in that case, either it will be at free of cost, or it will be given at concessional value. So if it is given at concessional value, the intangible asset will recognize at concessional value. If it is given at free of cost, then it will be recognized at nominal value. Nominal value means what? Nominal value means what? No, face value. Face value is only for equity shares. Intangible asset will have face value. Market, no. Nominal value means insignificant value. It can be 1 rupees, 10 rupees, only for disclosure purpose. Only for disclosure purpose. So nominal value means insignificant value. It can be 1 rupees, 10 rupees, but not 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh become material. So immaterial value. Only for which purpose? Disclosure purpose. Understood? Once again, I will discuss this point where? Under AS12 by taking some example. Chale aage? Yes, sir. Then internally generated goodwill. Already I have said it will not be recognized. Don't say zero. Well, it will not be recognized because it will not meet what? It will not meet recognition criteria because cost cannot be measured reliably. You need to give answer now because it will not meet recognition criteria. Which condition? Cost cannot be measured reliably. Understood? But they can say there can be some other internally generated intangible asset for which cost can be measured. For example, can I say I may generate some brand or I may generate some know-how. Know-how means know how to produce something. Just know how to teach. So I have my know how to teach advanced accounting. So that is my know-how. So for that some cost may be incurred and can be measured reliably. In that case, what in AS26 says that you need to recognize it as intangible asset. But any development of intangible asset have two phases. One is known as research phase, one is known as development phase. So whenever you are developing any internally generated intangible asset, first you need to incur some research expenditure. Then you need to incur some development expenditure. But under research phase, no intangible asset is created and therefore entire research expenditure will be charged to PL as an expense immediately. So any expenditure during research phase will be charged to PL as an expense immediately. But can I say any expenditure incurred under development phase, because under development phase you are developing intangible asset. So it may be recognized. It may be recognized as an intangible asset. May means if some conditions are satisfied. If some conditions are satisfied. So what they are saying, the expenditure incurred during development phase can be recognized as an intangible asset if and only if entity can demonstrate all the following. So demonstrate means recognition criteria. Recognition criteria means two conditions: future economic benefit and cost. So future economic benefit and cost. And of course, can I say right now we have assumed that cost can be measured reliably. It means we need to demonstrate whether it will give future economic benefit or not. So they have given 6 conditions for that demonstration. How many conditions? six condition to demonstrate that recognition criteria. Out of that, 5 is for future recurring benefit. 5 is for, and the last one is for what? Cost. Last one is for cost. These conditions are important from examination point of view, so you need to memorize it. Correct? So what you will say, expenditure during development phase will be capitalized as an intangible asset if and only entity can demonstrate how many conditions? 6 conditions. First, there must be technical feasibility of completing the intangible asset. Means entity must have technical feasibility to complete the intangible asset. Means suppose you are developing a COVID-19 vaccination and do not have approval from government. So any future you can benefit? No. So why you are developing? Means whatever you are developing cannot have any future economic benefit. Therefore, this development expenditure will not be recognized as an intangible asset. There must be technical feasibility of completing the intangible asset. Understood? Correct. Second, there must be intention to complete the intangible asset. What they want to say is you need to demonstrate. Of course, when you are developing, there will be intention. But if you do not have the intention, do not recognize it as an intangible asset. Understood what I am saying? Are you able to understand? Means, of course, can I say whenever you are developing, of course, you will have an intention to complete it. But at some point of time, if you are thinking that you will not develop it, then do not recognize it as intangible asset. Third is what? There must be ability to use or sell intangible asset. There must be existence for the market for either intangible asset or output of that intangible asset. Correct? There must be availability of adequate technical and financial resources. Correct? Now there must be adequate technical or financial resources. Suppose for development you require 100 crore. Correct? You have filed an application for loan in a bank, and bank has rejected what? The loan application. It means you do not have any financial resources. Now whatever you are developing, that will not be developed actually. Therefore, do not recognize it as an intangible asset. Last point, the ability to measure the expenditure reliably. So all these 6 conditions satisfied, then you can recognize it as an intangible asset. Okay. Can you repeat with me all the 6 conditions? First is what? There must be technical feasibility of completing the intangible asset. Second, there must be intention to complete intangible asset. Third, there must be ability to use or sell intangible asset. Fourth, there must be existence of market. But there must be existence of market. Keyword is this much. There must be existence of market. Fifth point, there must be availability of technical or financial resources. Last point, the cost can be measured reliably. Okay, sir. Correct? Understood. Now just try to understand. This question is very much popular. Suppose this is the research phase. This will be charged 10 lakh and this will be charged to profit and loss account. No doubt about this. Then once research phase is completed, you will start development phase. Correct? And you started incurring expenditure. And you have incurred 20 lakh at this point of time, and 6 condition has been satisfied at this point of time. Correct? And once the 6 condition is satisfied, you again incur 30 lakh. So can you say once the 6 condition is satisfied, there is no doubt about this, this will be capitalized. This will be capitalized now. And this will be recognized as an intangible asset. So there is no doubt about this, there is no doubt about this. The doubt is about this 20 lakh. This 20 lakh is incurred during which phase? Development phase. So whether it will be capitalized, it will not be capitalized. Understood the question? It is incurred during which phase? Development phase. But after some point of time, all the 6 conditions is satisfied. So whether it will be capitalized or charged to PL? It will be charged to PL as an expense. It will be charged. Means capitalization will commence from this date once all the 6 conditions are satisfied. Means before the compliance of all the 6 conditions, if any expenditure has been incurred during development phase, that will not be capitalized, that will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense immediately. Understood? Simple. But one doubt will come. Suppose this is year, 1 year only, first year. Suppose exam question they have given this is 1 year and 6 condition is satisfied during the year. So now this 20 lakh will be charged to PL or capitalized. Understood the question? Suppose this is 1 year, year 1 only, and the 6th condition is satisfied during the year. So this 20 lakh will be charged to PL or will be capitalized? Capitalized. Everyone is wrong. I was knowing that you will do wrong, therefore I have asked the question. Because I know your emotions. I know your nervous system, where you can do mistake. Just try to understand, apply whatever I am saying. What I have said, you have not understood the emotions of accounting instant language. I said that once the 6th condition is satisfied, then only capitalization can commence. So capitalization will commence from a date when all the 6th condition is satisfied. That was only my language, na? Then why you have applied other thing? Means thoda sa I have changed the question, you have changed the solution. Correct now. So it means this 20 lakh has been incurred when there was no probable future economic benefit. If there is no probable future economic benefit, the question of capitalization will not arise, and therefore it is not an intangible asset which charged to profit and loss as an expense immediately. Okay, sir? Okay? Chalega. Good question can be asked in exam. Okay? I'll do 1 or 2 questions at the end. Then once you have understood this is given us. So the cost of an internally generated intangible asset is the sum of expenditure incurred from the time when the intangible asset first meet the recognition criteria. Okay, sir. Then measurement subsequent to initial recognition. Measurement subsequent to initial recognition means as per AS 10 there was 2 model, cost model or revaluation model, but as per AS 26 there is no revaluation model, only what? Cost model, only cost model. There is no concept of revaluation model as per AS 26. So cost model is very easy. Cost price less accumulated amortization, less accumulated impairment loss. Once again, impairment will be done as per AS 28 and amortization will be done as per AS 26. So in this chapter we will discuss only amortization, we will not discuss impairment loss. So let us understand amortization. So amortization and depreciation are interchangeable terms, but depreciation normally we use for tangible item and amortization we use for intangible asset. However, amortization and depreciation calculation remain same. Calculation is as same whatever we have done where in AS 10, but there are some differences that we need to understand. So amortization is nothing but the depreciable amount of intangible assets should be allocated systematically during the useful life of the asset. There is systematic allocation of depreciable asset over the useful life of the asset. Over the useful life of the asset. Same meaning, correct? Understood. Now, what will be the amortization period? Can I say in this case also amortization period will commence when the asset is ready for use? Asset is ready for use. Normally for intangible asset we say it is available for use. Ready for use and available for use are both same date, but not put to use. Put to use is wrong term. Understood? So it will commence when the asset is available for use. Okay, sir. However, AS 26 has taken one assumption that useful life should not exceed what? 10 years. Useful life of any intangible asset should not exceed 10 years. This is one assumption, one I will say rebutable presumption has been taken. Rebutable presumption means what? What do you mean by rebutable presumption? Rebutable presumption means without any logic. A presumption has been taken and we need to apply that presumption. You can't ask question why. Understood? So any intangible asset, the useful life should not exceed 10 years unless longer life is justified. If there is justification of longer life, we can take longer life. But if there is no justification, it cannot be more than 10 years. For example, you have acquired a license for a contractual period of 20 years. So justified, the life is what? 20 years. In that case, justification is there. Therefore, useful life will become 20 years. But suppose if there is some intangible asset where there is no contractual period, in that case, the life cannot exceed 10 years. It can be less than 10 years, but it cannot be more than 10 years. It can be less than 10 years as per the information given in the question, but it cannot be more than 10 years. Means if the question is silent about intangible asset, how much, what will be the useful life? 10 years. So suppose they have given any intangible asset for which useful life is not given. By default, what will be the useful life? 10 years. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Yes, sir. Depreciable amounts remain same, cost minus residual value. Residual value will be always given in the question. However, for intangible asset, once again it is presumed that residual value is 0. Normally it is assumed residual value is 0. Whatever, but residual value whatever is given, if they have given 1 lakh, will take 1 lakh. The residual value will be as per the information given in the question. If not given, will take 0 only. If not given, will take 0 only. Correct? Amortization method, once again SLM, RBM, PUM. Only that 3 methods: SLM, RBM and PUM. Okay, sir? Correct. Means more or less same. Same thing here. Review of amortization period and depreciation method. Means we should review depreciation method, useful life, residual value at the end of each year, and any changes will be accounted as per AS 5. Any changes will be accounted as per AS 5. Understood? Same thing as we have done for AS 10. So amortization more or less is same. Only one rebuttable presumption has been taken: the useful life should not exceed 10 years. Now, only for your understanding, goodwill is an intangible asset. But you know that goodwill is only recognized as per AS 14 and as per AS 21. Correct? In amalgamation chapter, in consolidation chapter. Therefore, goodwill is outside the scope of this chapter. Goodwill is outside the scope of this chapter because goodwill is covered under AS 14 and AS 21. The goodwill, even though it is an intangible asset, is outside the scope of this chapter because that is covered under AS 14 and AS 21. Correct? It means there are goodwill and other intangible asset. Means there are two intangible assets: goodwill and other intangible asset. For other intangible asset, we are applying in AS 26. AS 26. And for goodwill, we are applying AS 14 and AS 21. Now, AS 14 says that goodwill should be amortized for a useful life which should not exceed how many years? 5 years. AS 14 says the useful life of goodwill should not exceed 5 years. So, for goodwill, we have what? 5 years. But for other intangible asset, we have 10 years. Understood? Means in AS 14 it is given because goodwill is covered where? Under AS 14. So goodwill will be amortized for a maximum period of 5 years. But other intangible asset will be amortized for a maximum period of 10 years. This point have you understood? This point I will use in AS 28. That time I will ask. So you need to say me correct answer. Got this point? So goodwill, what is the maximum life? Other intangible asset, what is the maximum life? 10 years. Chalega. Yes, sir? Yes, sir. This also you have understood. Impairment loss once again will be covered under AS 28. Will cover. Retirement. AS 10 says that whenever a PP is retired, it will be valued at carrying amount and we have done now. AS 10 PP is retired from its active use and held for disposal. As per AS 10, PP will be measured at lower of carrying amount and net realizable value. But for intangible assets, such point is not given. It will be always measured at carrying amount. Correct? So an intangible asset that is retired from active use and held for disposal is carried at its carrying amount only. Means will not compare with NRV. Got this point? Chalega. Derecognition is same to same. On derecognition means on disposal or when there is no future economic benefit. On derecognition, once again we'll calculate gain or loss on derecognition as same whatever we have done in AS 10. Means first find out sale proceed minus cost of disposal. This becomes net sale proceed minus carrying amount of the asset on date of sale. This is the gain or loss which will be transferred to profit and loss account. Okay. Scope you can read ki what is not covered in AS 26. Sometimes in MCQ this type of questions are important. Till now they have not asked but can be important. Means this you need to read by your own. My role is very less. But what is not covered? Intangible asset means AS 26 applied to all intangible assets except intangible assets that are covered under other accounting standard. For example, right now I said goodwill which is covered under AS 21 and AS 14 is not covered here. Correct? Similarly, Any lease means if you have taken any intangible asset lease, that is covered where? AS 19. Any intangible asset held by entity for sale in the ordinary course of business, already I have said it is covered under AS 2. It is covered under AS 2. Any financial asset means debtor, etc. Financial asset means any receivable of financial asset. So any receivable is not covered because receivable is not covered यहाँ पर, correct? Any mineral right expenditure, exploration or development and extraction of mineral right means wasting asset. If suppose you have a right to extract coal from coal mines, so that is also not covered in this particular chapter. Any intangible asset arising in insurance entity, that is also not covered in any intangible asset arising for insurance company will not be covered in this chapter. Expenditure in respect of termination benefit. So termination benefit means if employee is terminated, we need to pay compensation to employee. That is covered under AS 50. That is not covered in this chapter. So this you need to memorize. Not important, but you don't know MCQs, any question can be asked. Okay? Not so much important. Okay? Disclosure you can read by room. Disclosure they will never ask in CA. Understood? Done. So AS10 I have taken time because AS10 is very lengthy, and if you have understood AS10 now, you will understand all other accounting standard by your own. So AS10 was major accounting standard. So therefore in AS10 I have taken some time. Okay? Now let us take some question. This is one of the favorite question of the institute. Why? I don't know. You have seen this type of question. Have you seen? Swift Limited acquired a patent at a cost of rupees 80 lakh for a period of 5 years. And the product life cycle is also 5 years. So what is the useful life? 5 years. The company capitalized the cost and started amortizing the asset at 10 lakh per annum. 10 lakh per annum means what? Huh? Means they started amortizing at 10 lakh per annum. Okay, but 80 lakh for a period of 5 years and product life cycle is 5 years, but then also they are saying 10 lakh per annum. So we'll go as per the information given in the question. The amortization per year is what? 10 lakh. After 2 years, it was found that product life cycle may continue for another 5 years from then. So after 2 years, how much amortization done? 10 lakh, 10 lakh. What is the carrying amount? 60 lakh. Now they are saying from the end of second year, another use method. Unexpired useful life is what? Once again 5 years. The net cash flow from the product during these 5 years were expected to be itna respectively. So they have given net cash flow. Find out the amortization cost of the patent for each of the 5 years. Means what we'll do? First year 10 lakh, second year 10 lakh. Then the balance 60 lakh will be amortized in which ratio? This ratio. The balance 60 lakh will be amortized in this ratio. So 36 plus 46 plus 44 plus 40 plus 34 how much? 36 plus 46 plus 44 40 plus 34 how much? 200 lakhs. So can is 60 lakh into 36 divide by 200 how much? How much? 60 lakh. 60 lakh was the carrying amount. 10 lakh 80,000. Understood? Then 60 lakh into 46 divided by 200 how much? 13 lakh 80,000. So of course you can find out. And then can you find out this ratio? This ratio you can find out means this by this, this by this, this by this ratio find out. This is the amortization ratio. Understood? This is one of the favorite question. I don't know why, but this type of question they are asking. One of the favorite question. Okay? I hope you can do it. आगे चलें? Yes sir. This is also one of the favorite question. Normally students do mistake यहाँ पर. In this they will not do mistake. हाँ, in presentation they will do mistake. Means they will not write amortization ratio. So you need to work out amortization ratio also. Are you able to understand? Correct. You need to work out the amortization ratio in this case. Okay. What is this question? During the year, an entity incurred cost to develop and produce a routine low risk computer software. Means this is research and development phase. Correct. Particular Completion of detailed program and design phase 1, 50,000. Coding and testing, 40,000. Other coding cost, 63,000. Testing cost, 18,000. Product master for training material, 19,500. Packing of the product, 16,500. Now believe me, if you read up to this, you will not be able to understand. You will think that because every cost will be capitalized. You may think in this way. Means if you read this much, you will be totally confused. So you need to read the entire question carefully. To read entire question, then only conclude. So what they are saying, after completion of phase 2, means this, it was established that product is technically feasible. Oh, means can I say this will not be capitalized, this will not be capitalized? Because technical feasibility was only after phase 2. So this will not be capitalized, this will not be capitalized. Yes or no? It means other coding costs will be capitalized. Testing costs will be also capitalized. Now, product master for training material, whether this will be capitalized? Huh? Product master for training material. In this doubt will come. In this doubt will come. In this any doubt? This to you have understood now. In this doubt will come. Packing of the product, whether this will be capitalized? No, no. So this to no doubt, means it will not be capitalized. Doubt will be only for this. And believe me, same question I do at CA final level, same doubt will come. Means CA inter, CA final, once again same question I do in CA final also. CA final, same question have been asked 2 times. CA inter also, it is one of the favorite question. Means have been asked 3-4 times in CA inter. Means same question and doubt also remains same. Why I can say? Because I am teaching CA inter and CA final both. Understanding? It means just pass CA inter, you will become CA. Normally there is a phrase which I normally say, you pass CA inter, you become CA. CA inter is only the stage which you need to pass. Once you pass CA inter now, then one thing is sure that you will become CA when you decide. But CA inter, you need to pass. Because the difference, you know, difference between CA foundation, this is CA foundation, this is CA inter, correct? And this is CA final. So this difference is what? A vast difference, foundation to inter. Vast difference. But this difference is very less. Very less. So only this is the point you need to understand. You need to pass only CA inter. Once you pass CA inter, you become CA. Then how? Then you need to only study as per the requirement of ICI. CA inter, what happens? CA foundation you pass, you don't know what to, because CA foundation to you pass. CA foundation was just an entrance exam. And you pass CA foundation, yes, we pass CA foundation, you become superhero. And in CA inter, there are 8 subjects which are totally 8, na? 6, now 6, sorry. 6 subjects, there are 6 subjects, but ultimately there are 8 only, because FM and SM and direct, the 8 only, I was correct only. 8 subjects. So there are 8 subjects which are totally new. Only one subject which was actually not new, but that is also new. Advanced accounting. Yes or no? Because this is full accounting standard. You have never imagined in your life that you will study accounts in such a way. Accounts means what? What accounts mean? Debit, credit? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out? Yes or no? But suddenly what came in your life? Accounting standard? Bolna nahi. Correct? So it is actually a new subject only. So in CA inter, you are struggling for 8 new subjects without any practical understanding, because you don't have any articleship knowledge. Because once you pass CA inter, then only you can go for articleship. Now, articleship is practically. And because of that reason, I said pass CA inter, believe me, you will become CA. Passing CA inter is easy. You need to stick to CA ICA requirement. Don't move either. Don't move either. Either means don't go for such reference book. Stick to ICA syllabus. You stick to ICA syllabus, you will pass. But normally what happens, we stick to so many reference books. Ultimately, we are confused what to do, what not to do. That is only panga. Correct. So in this question, what I want to say, only this is the doubt. If I explain this, if you understand this, then you can answer. Let me explain what is this. then you can answer. What do you mean product master for training material? Let me take one example. I mean, I am recording my classes. So I am recording my classes and suppose technical feasibility is there. So I have recorded. Then can I say after recording, I will do some testing whether it is recorded properly or it is not recorded properly. Once the testing is done, then I will encrypt it. And encrypt means I will make it secured so that it cannot be copied by some other person. I will do some encryption. I have encrypted it, and that encrypted file will become my master file. The master file will be stored in some storage device. Correct? And from that we copy and give it to the student. We'll copy and give it to the student. Understood? Means you purchase my product, so I'll copy from which file? Master file, and I'll give to whom? To the student for their training purpose. So this master file is my what? Intangible asset or inventory? It is intangible asset, inventory. Intangible asset. So what is the cost incurred to generate this master file? Should be capitalized or should be charged to PL? Capitalized. Now say product master for training material. Now you say, means you develop one product master file for training material. So this master file will be capitalized, will be charged to PL. Capitalized. Understood? So once you have understood, now you will never forget. So I said this was only doubt. So your expenditure means capitalized amount will be this plus this plus this. This become answer. You can see answer is this plus this plus this. 1,05,500 will be the intangible asset. 2 marks question or 5 marks question. 5 marks question means you write down something. 2 marks question means MCQs. Chalega. Now this type of question can be asked in multiple choice question. For 2 marks, so super easy na. Then also dangerous. Then also dangerous because if you forget this, most of the student will say profit and loss account. Training material. Training material, what I said, whenever training it will be charged to PL. But in this, thoda sa common sense. Okay? Chalo. This is also one of the favorite question. Messer Pasa Limited is developing a new production process during the financial year ended 31st March 2019. The total expenditure incurred on the process was 80 lakh. Okay? Understood? The production process made the criteria for recognition as an intangible asset on 1st November 2018. Means when the recognition criteria was satisfied, expenditure incurred till this date was 42 lakh. Means up to 1st November 2018, what was the expenditure? So 42 lakh will be charged to PL or capitalized? Charged to PL. Means out of 80 lakh, how much will be charged to PL? So balance expenditure is incurred after 1st November. So that will be capitalized. So how much will be capitalized? 38 lakh will be capitalized. Understood? Have you understood? Further expenditure incurred on the process for the financial year ended 31st March 2020 means the next year some more expenditure was incurred. So of course that will be capitalized because already the condition has been satisfied. So this 90 lakh will be added to what amount? 38 lakh. So 90 plus 38, what is the carrying amount? 128. As on 31st March 2020, the recoverable amount, I think AS28 you have done. Impairment you have done. For impairment we want recoverable amount. If you have not done, I will do. Don't worry. So what AS28 says that if recoverable amount is less than carrying amount, then the difference will be impairment loss. So what is the carrying amount here? 128. What is the recoverable amount given? The recoverable amount of know-how is given 82. So recoverable amount is less than carrying amount. So what is the impairment loss? 46 lakh. 46. 46 lakh. Impairment loss will be always charged to profit and loss account. This is the question. Now give the answer. What is the expenditure to be charged to PL account for the year ended 31st March 2019? What is the answer? 42. What is the carrying amount of intangible asset on 31st March 2019? 38 lakh. What amount of expenditure to be charged to PL for the year ended 31st March 2020? Impairment loss. What is the impairment loss? 46. What is the carrying amount of intangible asset as on 31st March 2020 after impairment loss? 82 lakh. This is the answer. 4 marks question, 4 questions. Now this type of question again can be asked in multiple choice question. Means when there was no MCQs, now they used to ask 4 marks question, 5 marks question of this nature. So of course can be asked for 5 marks, can be asked for 2 marks also. Good question or not? Good question. One more question, last question I will take. This you can do, this you can do, this I will take. This is already asked in recent examination. I forgot the examination, but have been asked in recent examination. I think 2 or 3 attempts before. I forgot which attempt. Naresh Limited had the following transaction during the financial year 1920. Naresh Limited acquired a running business of Sunil Limited. So acquired means amalgamation. Now amalgamation you know. So goodwill will come. PC minus net asset taken over is what? Goodwill. This must you know na. So this 10,80,000 is what? PC. PC means on 15 May 2019, the fair value of net asset is 5,16,000. So 10,80,000 minus 5,16,000. What is the difference? 5,64,000. So this become goodwill. So 5,64,000 is goodwill. As per AS 14. Naresh Limited is of the view that due to popularity of Sunil Limited product in the market, is goodwill exists. This is bakwas point. Goodwill will be there. What is this? Okay. Goodwill will come as per AS 14. The difference between PC and net asset is goodwill. This is popular. This is bakwas. Okay. Naresh Limited had taken a franchise. Franchise means right to use the intellectual property of other party. It means it is an intangible asset. On July 2019 to operate a restaurant from Sankalp Limited for rupees 1,80,000 and at an annual fee of 10% of net revenue after deducting expenditure. The franchisee expires after 6 years, means 6 years become the useful life. Net revenue was 60,000 during the financial year 1920. Means how much they are paid to acquire franchisee? 1,80,000. So 1,80,000 become the cost of acquisition. So that will be the cost price of intangible asset. And useful life is what? 6 years. So it will be amortized in how many years? 6 years, which is less than 10 years. Which is less than 10 years. So we'll take 6 years only na. Okay. Okay na. Can you say whatever annual fee they are paying, that is extra amount paid every year. That is the revenue expenses. So 10% of sales will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. This will not be capitalized. This will not be capitalized. Understood? Okay. On 20th August 2019, Naresh Limited incurred a cost of rupees 2,40,000 to register the patent for his product. Naresh Limited expect the patent economic life to be 8 years. Okay, sir. So 2,40,000 will be the cost price, and they have said expected life is 8 years, which is less than what? 10 years. Will take what? 8 years only, which is less than 10 years. Naresh Limited follow an accounting policy to amortize all intangible on SLM basis over the maximum period permitted by the accounting standard, taking full year amortization in the year of acquisition. So of course maximum period, but can I say that is the maximum period, but we can take less period na. So even though they are saying maximum period is 10 years, but if the expected life is 8 years, we'll take 8 years na. Correct. Goodwill on acquisition business to be amortized over 5 years as per AS 14. This is given in the question. If not given, then also you will take what? 5 years. Already I have said. This is as per AS 14. Goodwill is for how many years? 5 years. Even though this para is not given, you will take how many years? 5 years. Understood? Chale aage. Prepare a schedule showing the intangible asset. So this you need to prepare. I am just showing how to do. This so you have understood what is goodwill. Correct. Divided by 5. So what is the per year amortization? 1,12,800. So this become the carrying amount. First working note you understood. Franchisee, what is the cost price? What is the useful life? 6 years. Divided by 6, how much? So this become carrying amount. This also you have understood. Patent, what is the cost price? What is the carrying amount? What is the useful life? 8 years. Divided by 8, you can calculate. This become carrying amount. Super easy or not? But then also in this now, most of the student will divide by 10. Why? Because they have written maximum permissible period, and most of the students who are not able to understand the emotions, because every teacher will say maximum period is what? 10 years, but they will not say in this way it is maximum period. If you are expecting less, that will be the useful life, and most of the student will divide by what? 10. This is the emotions. Normally we do as per our emotions in exam. We say maximum. You are also doing maximum. No, no, no. That is the maximum period. Permissible. And second, goodwill 5 year. Good question or not? Already asked in exam. In recent time, I think 3-4 attempt before it was asked. I don't know which attempt, but it was asked. Good question. With this type of question they are asking. Now you need to prepare notes to account. Notes to account means you should write down under, means in your balance sheet format, you know na. So under asset we write down non-current asset. Under non-current asset write down intangible asset. This is the total amount. For that we'll prepare note number 1. Note number 1 we can prepare. This is the carrying amount and the total will come here, but this can be shown. Understood? This you can do. One second, super easy question. This question, I think that question was asked for, I think 8 marks. I forgot the marks, but it was for 8 marks. For 8 marks, super easy or not? Then also difficult. Why difficult? If you have forgotten, if you are not able to understand the content of AS26, then it is difficult. And can it's one wrong calculation, everything is wrong, and 8 marks will become 2 marks. 8 marks will become 2 marks. The difference lies there. You are able to understand in class, you are understanding. But are you able to follow? Are you able to apply? Are you able to retain in exam hall? That is the main task. Got this point? AS26 completed from my point of view. Okay? I think all questions, all expected questions I have done. Take some question from book. Any doubt you can ask me anytime. Okay? Means after class also if you ask me, I will remain in the class. If you can ask me any other doubt.